most people get promoted because of what they've done. Erika Kirk got promoted because of what happened to somebody else. Her husband was, and she inherited his organization. And this week, 2 Republican governors and the President of the United States decided that that was sufficient enough qualification to hand her access to tens of thousands of teenagers. What is she planning to do with that access? That's the part nobody's covering, and we're going to get into it right now. But real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. If you're new here, please take a moment to make sure you're subscribed. We currently have a lead on Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica behind all the ICE terror. So consider every sub, every hype, every like, every comment, 6 words or more, as a direct FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We got to maintain our lead at a pure principle. This story is moving faster than the headlines suggest, and most people are already way behind. Now, before we get into what was announced in Arkansas, let's establish what Turning Point USA actually is. So this is a group that was built by Charlie Kirk and has a professor watch list for professors that teach, critical race theory or that queer students should be treated as people. They have a publicly accessible database targeting educators whose politics they disagree with, even if it's history. It exists, it's active, and it's running on campuses across the entire country right now. Turning Point USA built it deliberately, and they're proud of it. This is also an organization whose founder called Martin Luther King Jr. an awful person. And he spent years telling young men that liberal institutions were trying to erase them. This was his whole ideological framework. This is what got built into 3,200 chapters before Charlie Kirk was last September. And since his death, the expansion has accelerated. Arkansas, Indiana, Oklahoma, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Montana, Nebraska, Republican governors, one by one, are opening their doors of their public schools using the weight of their offices to make sure administrators do not get in the way. Indiana's lieutenant governor, who describes himself as a Christian nationalist openly on the record, and he said that without any embarrassment, by the way, he said that the state partnership exists so that way when school officials try to block these clubs, the state will be standing in the students' corner ready to fight. So the governors are running interference for this shit.
And if school administrators try to suppress students' freedom of speech, as we have seen in other states, let me assure you that conservatives have just as much of a right to speak their mind as anyone else in the country, and we will stand up for you.
Trump appointed Erika Kirk to the advisory board of the U.S. Air Force Academy this week. So while she was standing next to Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas, announcing access to every high school in the state, they're recruiting your sons and daughters and kids.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken, and most faithful leaders, Erika Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that she is doing to help encourage students across the country to engage and join Club America, which we're launching here in Arkansas, and we're just honored to have you.
Thank you. They're asking your daughters to submit, and nobody is saying it out loud, because here's what Turning Point USA, Toilet Paper USA is actually building inside of these schools. They're building 2 distinct tracks, depending on who is sitting in the room. For young men, the destination is military enlistment. They want them to be patriots, and they want to mobilize them. Indiana's Secretary of State announced a separate Turning Point partnership this week, specifically around partisan voter registration and poll worker recruitment. A Turning Point official described the mission as teaching young people their responsibility to defend freedom. That is recruitment language. That's militarized. And the organization now has a direct advisory line into the institution that trains military officers. They handed it to them personally. The President of the United States gave this to Erika Kirk this exact week. They expanded in 2 more states at the same time. Connect those dots however you want, but connect them. And let's just talk about Erika Kirk and what she's actually telling girls in those rooms. She's saying, find a man, build your entire life around him, depend on him completely.
We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers like mine. We need that. And young women, we need you to also rise up. God has created you for a purpose and a reason far greater than you and I will ever know on this side of heaven.
The man she's encouraging them to depend on is statistically the most likely person to them. Over 90% of women are murdered by somebody they know. Roughly 60 to 70% of them are killed by a current or former intimate partner. So you are encouraging these young women, these girls, to find a man who's statistically most likely to kill them and give up their financial security, their independence, their career, and attach yourself completely to this person. In Arkansas, the person in your life who has the highest statistical probability of in you, hashtag God's plan. And the funny part of all this is, like, Erika Kirk did not take her own advice. She runs a multi-million-dollar organization. She has a military academy leadership appointment. She flies around on PJs all over the country giving speeches to governors. She is living the exact life she wants to tell your daughter not to live. Now, the woman delivering this message has her own background that does not hold up to scrutiny either. Erika Kirk and her degree doesn't check out. We covered that in a previous video. The timeline doesn't add up. The receipts are not kind to her. None of this has been addressed publicly, but she doesn't need to address it because she has the governor. She has the White House. She has a seat on a military academy board. And as of this week, she has access to your kids' schools in 10 states. And the number is climbing rapidly. The club handbooks offer chapter banners, supplies, posters, and activism grants of up to $1,000. Critics are calling it plug and play indoctrination, and I would retweet that. In at least one documented case, the club wasn't even started by a student. A school employee initiated it, and the organization counted it anyway. The Young Dems of Arkansas showed up this morning with their own press conference and said, nothing announced today will make a single Arkansas family's life more affordable, healthier, safer, or better in any way, which, free tweet again, that's pretty accurate. But it will make their children significantly more reachable to Erika Kirk, the woman running this operation, who's now one of the most protected figures in conservative politics. Institutionally, she has so much protection. Governor is standing next to her. The White House appointing her. 10 states opening up their schools, giving their children to her. Nobody's checking her credentials. Nobody's asking any questions, and the doors keep opening anyway. So if this makes you want to yeet yourself out of a window, hit subscribe. Share this with people who will not see it or find it on their own, because we are going to keep digging in. Most people are like, what is Erika Kirk up to? We're digging in. We're keeping our foot on the gas, but we cannot grow without your support. So every sub, every hype, every like, consider that our way of holding ground against these Looney Tunes. Willa, do you want to come downstairs? You want a treat? Oh, there she is. There she is. That's a girl. Okay, I love you so much. Okay. She's not supposed to jump like that.